Let's run through here. Open this chest before this boss sees me and I leave. What's going on here? A mimic. I hate mimics, man. They're such lazy mobs. Like, what's even the point of having a mob like this in the game? I hate mimics. Hey, what do you mean you hate all mimics?
Huh? Who said that?
We did. Just wait until Twitter hears about this. Oh, you're done, buddy. Come on, guys. You know I didn't mean it like that. I love you guys. Oh no, don't backtrack now. All mimic lives matter. You're done.
Yeah, I'd like to apologize for my actions. I have made a severe lapse in my judgment. I said that I hated all mimics. That is not true. I apologize to everybody in the mimic community. In fact, I do have mimic friends. Mimighoul armor, you know, Mimighoul fiend, especially fiend. He's a very close friend of mine. No, for no reason, but he's a very close of mine. I just want to apologize for everything.
What's going on, Rogue family? Good night. Hope your day is going well. Glad you can go ahead and join me for this video. I'm Ron the Rogue Man. What you're seeing on screen is indeed a rogue deck, right? Let's go ahead and jump into, you know how it goes. Go over the list, go over some replays, give me your feedback. If you like the video, go ahead and like. Go ahead and subscribe. Right, trying to churn out some more content on this channel, right? Get a groove going, isn't it? So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the birds and the mimics. Today we are talking about lyrilusc Mimighoul, which is my rendition on the deck, my take on the deck, what I would like to go ahead and play. You know, since the reveal of the XYZ monsters, which indeed I did say in the video, the first video, that I do hope that this deck went the XYZ route, and they did, which is perfect. So with that being said, let's get right into it. For our Mimighouls, we play 2 copies of Archfiend. You know, once this card is summoned, you can target one face-up monster on the field, flip it face up. You can give this opponent to you can give this card to your opponent from your hand. If it's flipped up, you can go ahead and draw 1 card. Then you make the opponent send 1 card from their hand to the graveyard, and then return control. 3 copies of Dragon. It's basically the best normal summon in the deck. Once it is summoned, you can go ahead and add any Mimighoul spell and shop, and also if it's flipped face up, you can destroy all monsters on the field except Mimighouls and return it to the opponent. To Mimighoul Master, once this card is summoned, you can go ahead and add a copy of a Mimighoul monster from your deck to your hand. It also cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects if you control another Mimighoul or your opponent controls a face-down monster. For our newer cards, we're playing 1 copy of Mimighoul Armor, 2 copies of Mimighoul Fury, and 3 copies of Mimighoul Slime. The 3 of them have an effect to special summon from the hand by different ways. Slime says if your opponent controls more monsters than you. Fury says if you control a Mimighoul monster. And Armor says as long as your opponent controls a monster overall. Look at this guy. Look at him. Look at Armor, bro. You can't tell me it's not the best artwork in the entire archetype. Look at him. He's so adorable. So, he's ready to charge. I love this card art. For the supplementary monsters that we play, right? We play 3 copies of Celestine Wagtail. If it is special summoned, you can go ahead and add a lyrilusc spell and chop from your deck to your hand. Really good. 3 copies of Warbler. Also, it can attach to a lyrilusc XYZ monster you control, so you know, become XYZ material. 3 copies of Turquoise Warbler. I think everybody should know what Warbler does by now. If you control no monsters, beam it out from your hand, and you can go ahead and beam out another lyrilusc from your hand if you have one in your hand. So this is basically just all around a phenomenal extender or play starter. 1 of the Barrel Canary, Cobalt Sparrow, and Sapphire Swallow, right? You can go ahead and bring out 1 from the graveyard by targeting it, special summon and special summon 1 from the graveyard. You can add another name, and if you have a name in hand or control a winged beast, you can go ahead and special summon this card from your hand. 3 copies of the archetypal Foolish Burial / ROTA, which is a lyrilusc bird call. For our non-engine, right, we play 3 copies of Ash, 3 Nibiru, and 3 Imperm. I am leaning to playing more board breakers in this. For example, maybe taking out Ash for a few Book of Eclipses. You know, since we can beat over them now on Zeus is a lot easier. But yeah, something to think about. Like 3 Ash, 3 Nib, and 3 Imperm. Something you can do is, if you want to, you can reduce a bit of the consistency of this card by taking out this card to add more hand chops, or you can bump it up to a 43 by adding 3 more hand traps for all around 12 hand traps in this case. That's something you can do if you'd like. For our Mimighoul spell hand traps, we play 3 copies of a Dungeon. Once it is this card is on the field, your opponent cannot know summon monsters as long as they control a face down monster, and also it pumps the attack of Mimighoul monsters you control. You can add a Mimighoul from your graveyard or deck to your hand. 3 copies of Maker. This is now literally the play maker of the deck. So we no longer have to play these junky targets like Fire Sorceress or the Guard Dog. This is now literally a 1-card combo, and it doesn't matter if you lose the 50-50 or not. And 1 copy of Mimighoul Room. I love this card. I do feel like you can play multiples of it, but currently I'm playing 1. I don't feel like playing more than 1 is necessary because the game shouldn't be going that long with the addition of the new cards. So yeah, for the extra deck we play 1 Zeus, 1 copy of Downard, 2 copies of Giant Mimighoul. This card is literally it is my custom card because in the first video I did say what I would like this deck to have is a way to search from the extra deck and a way to go ahead and beat over face down monsters, because a deck like this should have that. For example, Ninja has that with their fusion monster. This deck also needed it, so I'm glad it's here. And also it can go ahead and burn, so it's a time card. You can detach materials for the amount of face down you can destroy cards on the field which are face up for the amount of face down monsters your opponent controls and inflict 1,000 damage for each. So pop 3, burn for 3. Crazy card. And also non-effect monster, non-Xyz monsters that you control, which are Mimighouls, can beat over face down monsters. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. That's exactly what my Mimighoul Minotaur was. 2 copies of Mimighoul Throne. You can go ahead and basically beam out master from anywhere, hand, field, or deck. Hand, graveyard, or deck, and then it can go ahead and equip himself to master, essentially putting master on the throne to bounce a card or cards on the field up to the amount of materials it had at the time upon doing that effect. So it's basically like a generator Leviathan, right? Non-targeting removal based on its Xyz material. Our lately stuff, we have 2 copies of Assemblue Robin. Nobody expects the second Assemblue. You can go ahead and just bounce for the amount of materials it has, which you can make a format one, so 4 bounces, really strong. 1 copy of Assemble Nightingale. This is basically the best the best Zeus pilot for the deck. 2 copies of Versatile Starling, once per turn adding of a Wing Beast monster to go into our F0 plays, which you do play the F0 package. 1 copy of Splitting Light because why not? 1 copy of the Relinquished Anima for helping us going second. And also sometimes, let's say you opened up one of these, this on a name that you can't really special summon, you can go ahead and normal summon this, link it off into Anima, effect of Canary to target in the graveyard and special summon it to trigger its effect, so begin your plays. So that does come up. So with that being said, let's hop into those juicy replays. Replay number 1. We have a copy of Ash, Warbler, Nibiru, Dungeon, and Cobalt Sparrow. I'm not sure if it's this one, but I do show a replay that displays what just opening Warbler and a name can accomplish. It might be this one, not sure, let's see. Special summon Warbler, then Warbler effect to go ahead and special summon a name from hand. Effect to go ahead and add a name from deck, which in this case will be Beryl Canary. Overlay into a copy of Giant. We go ahead and add Maker. Normally we'd add Dungeon to go ahead and continue the combo, but since we already have Dungeon, we can just add a copy of Maker. Upon Maker effect, we're going to add Dragon, of course. Activate the effect of the Maker. We get to our field 1 copy of Fiend and get to add armor to our hand. I love this card so much. Look at this. Why couldn't you be a little bit better, man? His art is so cool. Best art. Go ahead and special summon Dragon by the effects of Maker. Dragon effect to add a copy of Room, since we've already, gone from most of our targets. I'm not playing Fork, and I am not playing, what's it called? Charm. The focus of my build specifically, my build does not revolve around giving my opponent monsters. That's just, I don't understand that that's the next gimmick, but I'm not really trying to jump to hoops to do that. If you understand what I'm saying here, I'm trying to just make my board as best as possible, and you know, if I give my opponent some cards, sure, go ahead and special summon the knight, since the opponent does indeed technically control a monster, right? So if your opponent controls a monster, you can go ahead and special summon it out. We can overlay that into a copy of Throne, then Throne effect to go ahead and bring out the Master. Master effect to go ahead and add a copy of Slime. Slime's effect to go ahead and special summon to the opponent's field. We're going to detach one from the Mimighoul giant, and we're going to attempt to pop Master, but Master says cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects while your opponent controls any face down monsters or you control another Mimighoul other than Mimighoul Master. So it cannot be destroyed by the effect of giant. So we'll go ahead and just to get a name in graveyard, right? So then we're going to activate the effect of Beryl Canary, special out back the Warbler, and overlay into a copy of Assam Blue, set one, and then, you know, pass turn, some things happen, you know, flip up the Slime, get Dragon effect to go ahead and add another copy of Maker for follow-up, activate that to draw a card, it goes to graveyard because we have no spaces. We can go ahead and activate the effect of this. So if we don't want them to go ahead and normal summon, set a copy of the Fairy to their field. You know, now they have to special summon, so we can go ahead and, you know, bounce 2 cards, bounce a 3rd card, and then pass turn we have our hand traps, and you know, we can pretty much go for a game next turn. For our next replay, we've opened up Maker, Nib, Fiend, Sparrow, and a copy of Solo's Quarry. I was testing this card. It's not bad per se. It's not bad. It does set up plays, right? It's basically an extra name. It's extra copy of Wagtail or extra copy of Sparrow. It's just that, you know, it does require you to open up another name, which I guess the engine itself does, is a 2-card combo. It's something you can, you know, test. If you like it, you can play it. If you want to add it to your deck for more consistency, you can. But I took it out in the last half, but I just wanted to show a combo with it. So we're going to go ahead and, you know, discard the tribute a wing beast from hand or field to add a wing beast from your deck with the same level as the tributed monster, so level 1. Of course, we're going to add a copy of Warbler. Special summon Warbler, then Warbler's effect to go ahead and reborn from hand or graveyard. Get back out the Sparrow, and then Sparrow's effect to add a copy of Beryl Canary. Going to go ahead and overlay into Giant. Giant's effect to add a copy of Field Spell. Go ahead to add Dragon, right? So okay, so this is also another one where I basically just use just the cards that I've opened, which is the Canary and the Warbler. Go ahead and normal summon Dragon. We won't use it, so we're going to go ahead and use the effect of to add Maker. Then we're going to activate Maker's effect. We're going to attempt to search out Fairy and search out the Knight, I believe, Living Armor, I should say. And then we got the Fairy, which will go ahead and beam ourselves out because we do control a Mimighoul monster. We can go ahead, use that effect like that. Slime to the opponent's field, of course. Attempt to pop with our Giant, cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Bring out back the Warbler, overlay into the Assam. So basically, I was just showing here that even without the Maker in hand, opening up 2 names of the lyriluscs indeed can at least end on your engine, right? Your engine is fully chugging along. So let's go ahead and show a replay of a regular test hand, right? A copy of Turquoise Wobbler, a copy of Archfiend, 1 Maker, Infinite Permanence, and Wagtail. A very good hand. It's a lot, you know, it's a lot of engine. Going second would be a bit tricky. If we're going second, I don't know what we drawn into. But with that being said, let's go ahead and begin the play. We're going to go ahead and give our opponent a copy of the Archfiend so that we can insulate ourselves from at least the Imperm effect of Warbler effect to bring up Wagtail effect to go ahead and add Bird Call. We're going to overlay into recital number 1 to go ahead and add a copy of the Beryl Canary. Beryl Canary will go ahead and target the Wagtail in the graveyard to special summon her. Go into recital number 2 to go ahead and add a copy of Cobalt Sparrow. With that being said, we're going to go ahead now and overlay into our F0 package to go ahead and insulate ourselves from at least Nibiru and maybe Ash on our Maker. activate the effect of Maker, go for our 50-50. In this case, we do not get our 50-50. We get the Archfiend instead of the Dragon. No problem. We can go ahead and continue playing here. Effect, flip up the copy of the Fiend that we gave to them to draw into our card. Hopefully the Field Spell, not the Field Spell this time, unfortunately. We're going to go ahead now, overlay into the Throne effect to go ahead and bring out a copy of Master effect to go ahead and add the girl. Since we did not get access to the Field Spell, we're going to have to add her the hard way. So we're going to go ahead and now activate the effect of Bird Call to add a copy of the, well, nothing, because DB is indeed a small indie company, so my apologies there. We're going to go ahead and add the Sapphire Swallow, special summon the Cobalt Sparrow from our hand, since we added it with a different name. Effect of Cobalt Sparrow to add any name, doesn't really matter which one, just need a card in hand. Keep in mind, we have not normal summoned this entire combo. We can go ahead and special summon the Sapphire from our hand and also the Warbler. Then we can go ahead and overlay the Warbler and the Cobalt Sparrow into our copy of the, our Sapphire and our Sparrow into the Assam Blue Nightingale, which will then give us the effect of, if this card is summoned, you can target one lyrilusc monster in your graveyard, attach it as material. Going to, of course, attach Royal Canary, who says a Wind Xyz monster with this card summoned gains 200 attack and cannot be stolen from us. And then we're going to go ahead and special out the copy of the Fury, since we control a Mimighoul monster. Overlay those into the Giant's effect to go ahead and add a copy of Room. And then we're going to go ahead set to effect of the Wagtail in the graveyard to attach itself to the Assemble Robin, which will give us a format Assemble Robin. Once again, my build is not so much based around giving my opponent monsters. It's more so about developing up a decent board for myself. So in this case, we have a bounce attaching to to Master. They can flip up the Dragon, I don't care. We have a negate in our Utopic Draco Future, and we can go ahead and special out it depends on what you want. For example, it could be the Fairy or it could be the Slime. It depends really on what you want. Matchup specific, but let's say we're playing Snake Eyes Azimina. We can go ahead and give them the Fairy to go ahead and try to turn off their hand effects as much as possible. Can go ahead Imperm, we can bounce 4 cards that they special summoned, activate the effect of the Fury and get it back, and then from there your world's your oyster. You have so much follow-up to do, pretty much anything you want to do, right? I do believe this is game, right? I do think this is game because you can just get into another copy of Giant, go for Field Spell, and yeah, just win the game from there. Should be good. Oof, we're back with the deck. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video once more. Once again, give your boy a like, help support your boy in the algorithm. The algorithm is doing me dirty right now. Like, subscribe, please keep safe, and